Thanks all. So when I was chatting at break, I thought the easiest way this can go wrong is if I fall off the stage. So I'll be watching that carefully. Thank you so much to Conul for inviting us. Let's go onward. So, unique and distinct collections, as per the definition shown, are broader than traditional special collections, potentially covering collections in all formats and locations within an institution. A UDC derives its significance from its interest to research, teaching and society through its association with a person, place or topic, and this distinguishes their constituent items from similar ones that may exist elsewhere. In UCC Library Special Collections and Archives, our UDCs encompass, but are not limited to, printed works, artist books, posters, prints, Irish language manuscripts, estate papers, design, literary collections and photographic collections. And you can see in the slide the number, date range and examples of UDCs in UCC Library. So the UN SDGs have been described as a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all and provide a common language to describe the impact our research community has on local, national and international scale. UCC is a world leader in green campus sustainability initiatives, and UCC Library has been at the vanguard of this work. As part of these measures, UCC maps its research to the SDGs. We sought to implement the SDG mapping locally to maximise use of UCC Library Special Collections and Archives. So in using the SDGs common language known to UCC community, we're meeting users where they're at. We believe that mapping our UDCs to the SDGs will promote use of the collections by the UCC community further afield, potentially matching SDG 17. And this work will also tie into UCC's current research programme, Futures, which mines the frontiers of curiosity and inquiry at the intersection of disciplines. So, UCC academics use a self-standardised tool to examine the extent to which they incorporate SDGs coverage into their modules. They picked the SDG that most aligned with their module content. Clicking on each of the goals, it's hyperlinked to a detailed description of that specific SDG and its targets. They entered a score between 0 and 5 in the right-hand column, where 0 is no coverage, 3 uses inter-transdisciplinary approach to the SDGs, and 5 uses action-oriented pedagogies and/or community outreach. The result is then produced in this spiky graph template. The mapping exercise was completed across 27 schools and 8 research centres, including Tyndall and the ERI. And in addition, case study templates were developed and are present on the dedicated website. The aim was to show at a deeper level the research contribution from UCC to the SDGs. However, Special Collections and Archives, we don't have modules, so instead we mapped each collection as if it were a module. Another limitation is the field of values, because we're unlikely to use values 3 to 4, though we occasionally do use 5, which is outreach. Only if a collection matched SDG 4, which is quality education, did we include that in our mapping exercise, so it doesn't reflect the fantastic quality of service that we apply in Special Collections and Archives. So, with 175 collections to map, this is very much a work in progress, and to date we've completed 12. We identified collections we were personally familiar with, used in classes or in events, and are representative of our themes. The smaller collections have been easier to do, but we did try to use a larger collection as well, and most of the collections that we used in the 12 are from the 20th to the 21st centuries. There are always time constraints, so we started with 6 from both services, and it continues to be a work in progress. We'll retrospectively apply it to the remaining 163 collections, and these are the ones that are only open to users at the moment. There are obviously lots of ones that are uncatalogued or unlisted. Once we selected our collections, we reviewed our descriptive lists or the library catalogue, and we set to. So I'm now going to hand you over to Emma, who will discuss results and findings. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. On this slide here, we can see the mapping results of the Special Collections photo book collection. This is an early 21st century collection created by Elaine as a companion piece to the numerous photographic collections acquired by the Archive Service. As you can see, the collection has hit 10 of the 16 data points, or 2/3 of the SDGs. We attributed this number to the age of the collection, with all items having been published in the last 6 years. The pattern shows strong representation in the areas of inequality and sustainable cities. There we go. The next slide is a representation of the mapping of the Attic Press collections from the Archive Service. This also hits 10 data points, but in a very different pattern, possibly due to the collection being slightly older than the photo book, dating from the mid to late 20th century. It's interesting to note, however, that it does mark the same point on number 5, gender equality. This particular data point would also be mapped in a further 6 out of the 11 collections, highlighting a previously unseen connection between collections. It's not my day today. So, what did we find when it came to analyse our findings? We realised that there's just as much significance in the lack or absence of data as there is in the present data. The Bantry Strait collection is a perfect example of this, being from the 17th to the 19th century. It didn't map on any of the points 10 to 16, simply because these points were not of concern historically. Only in the 20th century did we begin to identify concerns around responsible consumption and sustainable cities. The process surpassed all of our expectations in how many collections could be mapped in some capacity. All results, whether data present or not, is of value. We are aware this is a constantly evolving model and are adapting with each new collection and collection type. And we strive with the aid of the model to be fully solution-driven in our approach going forward. So, how did this experiment apply to the new Green UDC at UCC? Over the last decade, UCC has been developing its leadership in sustainability and exploring how UCC Library could create a specific green UDC. We brainstormed to articulate what that would look like, realising that since industrialisation, we have a wealth of resources within the collections that show the flip side of the green and how we can apply an industrial retrospective lens to more or less green spaces, as we saw with the Bantry Strait collection. We know that incoming collections are already changing and are now more uncatalogued collections which will reflect this change. We have illustrated the point here with an image from Smith's History of Cork in the 18th century, which charts the beginning of the growing industrialisation of the city and the lessening of green spaces. And underneath we have a sample from Casey Holton's tree font. Having a green UDC aligns with UCC's 23 to 28 strategic plan and enables us to specifically address point 2.1 of the plan, which is student success, by contributing to best practice in academic success. So what are the takeaways from this experiment? We learned the value of embracing data in our work and being more data-driven than we traditionally had been. Having clear evidential data in our collections enables better intellectual control and assists in adapting our approach to teaching and learning. This highlights again our need for more consistent communication with all stakeholders and ensures we are addressing teaching and learning needs on a consistent basis. And finally, of course, if we can't measure it, we can't fix it. Having this greatly assists in our collection management and how we would use and promote our collections. Also, on the end of the slide here, you'll see a QR code to an interactive website that we have created, which highlights this mapping and will include the spiky charts on these collections, which can be used by students, staff and researchers to forward and future-proof their research. And lastly, we have included the list of the resources that we've used in this experiment for anyone here who might like to have a look and see how this can apply to themselves. Thank you.